Many people count calories to lose weight, but what exactly are calories? Few realize that counting calories is a way of measuring the fuel you're eating. For the walking athlete, counting calories is vital so that we don't run out of fuel on our excursion. So let's talk about how we can manipulate those nutritional players so as to build and maintain our fuel levels so that we get the most out of our walk. The term calories reflects the amount of chemical fuel a food has in it. It is a unit of energy and is not a nutritional value. Each of the macronutrients has specific amounts of calories per gram found in them. For example, carbs and proteins have about 4 calories per gram. Alcohol has 7 calories per gram, and fat, it has a whopping 9 calories per gram in it. Now 1 pound has 454 grams. So doing some simple math, you can see that a pound of carbs will have about 1,816 calories, whereas a pound of fat, well, it will have 4,086 calories. It doesn't take a math genius to realize that eating fat-based foods needs to be controlled. If you have a choice between a snack with high fats or high carbs, which would you choose? Well, I'd choose the high carb one since it will ultimately have less calories in it per gram, and also because the body uses it primarily as a fuel source. The body uses these macronutrients as fuels, but how it converts them to fuel differs. For example, carbs are by far the easiest to use and range in fuel type from simple to complex forms. Simple sugars provide quick, high-energy fuel, like rocket fuel. Complex sugars provide a less intense and longer-lasting fuel source, like jet fuel when it's compared to rocket fuel. They are also the go-to fuel for the body. The body will use carb-based fuels before anything else. Then there are the fats, which provide a slow, long-lasting source of fuel. Like a log on a fire, they take some time to get going, but can last a long time. Proteins are used last and provide an even more slowly available and lower intensity of energy. It would be like a stovetop element versus the rocket fuel. Generally, we want to avoid using proteins for energy because they are better used to build or restore tissue. Now, each type of energy source is used for different things. The rocket fuel of the simple carbs offers immediate explosive and short-lived energy, whereas the campfire of the fats and the stovetop burner of proteins takes a while to get going and offers a lower level of energy, but for longer periods of time. Just like when you're cooking and need to decide which type of fire to use, the body also must choose which fuel source is needed to get the job done right. Which fuel source to use will be determined by the power level that will be needed by the activity being done and how long the activity continues for. For example, weightlifters will lift heavy weights, but for only a few moments at a time. They will need a short-acting, strong fuel source, like rocket fuel. Whereas the long-distance endurance runner doesn't require much strength but must keep up the activity for long periods of time. They will need more of a burning log-based fuel rather than the rocket fuel. Energy use occurs along a continuum, from short-term rocket fuels used for short, explosive activities to medium-level fuels provided by the jet fuel of mostly carb-based fuels for medium-intensity activities, such as playing a game of soccer, to long-term energy systems provided by the logs and stovetop burners of fats and proteins to fuel long, enduring activities such as long-distance walking and running. Therefore, longer burning fuels like fat require long, slower workout programs rather than high-intensity, shorter programs. Our body stores carbs in the form of a sugar called glucose in the liver and the muscles, which can be quickly accessed for our activities. There's enough for about 60 to 90 minutes before it starts running out. Energy use occurs on a continuum that starts with stored glucose, then to fats and proteins. Therefore, as an event moves towards lasting longer than 60 to 90 minutes, more fat and protein will be used as an energy source, and the glucose will begin to get depleted. Now, the problem with that is that you need glucose to convert fat into energy. Once the glucose stored in the muscles, liver, and blood is gone, then you won't be able to convert the fat into fuel. This is experienced as hitting the wall, or when you're just too exhausted to continue. So if your event is going to last longer than 60 to 90 minutes, you will want to consider eating sources of energy and sugar to supplement your body's sugar level, to delay the depletion of your available glucose levels, and to continue burning fats, which will allow for additional workout time. To make sure that you have enough fuel in your body for your workout, you will want to consider manipulating your diet so that it meets not only your nutritional needs, but also your fuel needs. Nutritional manipulation is an awesome tool for the athlete because if used properly, it will not only help you perform better, but it will also help keep you from eating foods that are actually going to end up on your hips and belly rather than getting used for fuel. For example, if you were going on a car trip, you would decide where you were going to go, how far it was, and how much fuel you would need. Then you would look at the gas gauge and consider if you have enough fuel for your trip. Now, if you're just going to the store and your tank is almost empty, well, chances are you'll probably be fine. Filling up and topping off the tank would be overkill and completely unnecessary. Now, overkill and unnecessary eating can be similar for your body in that you are providing too much fuel for your body to use for that event, and it stores it on your hips and belly. On the other hand, if you're going on a longer trip, you will want to fill your tank appropriately so that you don't run out of fuel out there somewhere. A couple-hour trip might need about half to 3/4 of a tank, whereas a trip to Texas might need several full tanks of gas. So the same goes for your body's fuel tank. If you're doing a shorter walk, then you're probably fine with a regular diet. If you're going on 40 to 60-minute walks, you'll want to consider if your diet's providing enough glucose to fill up the muscle and liver stores before you go. This is something you have to plan out because it takes about 24 to 48 hours to fill those reservoirs. For walks that are longer than 60 minutes, you will want to make sure that you have a full tank of fuel before you go, and you'll want to pack some portable fuels for replenishment during your walk. Make sure that your meals include appropriate levels of carbs. Current recommendations for the average workout are about 50 to 60% of your meal to be carb-based, 30% protein, and 15% fats.